everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We are here to do a reaction to Moonfall for movie night. This is a 2022 movie. I fell upon it, okay? I did not select it. I actually was told a while back to watch this movie and I did not. And I decided today just to click on it and start watching it. And as I got into it, I was like, I'll go ahead and make this a movie night reaction. Now, as I began to watch it, within maybe like the first 10 minutes of the movie, I felt like, why have I seen this before? And it felt very Independence Day. And then when I went to go look up the background of this movie, I found out it was directed and wrote by the same guy who did Independence Day. There you go. The first 20 minutes is Independence Day in this film, in my suggestion. I mean, even down to some of the dialogue, like when Halle Berry is talking to her former superior and she's like, oh, you're leaving them in the dark. Get it? Moonfall. Even the cast, okay, I took notes in comparison. So this movie is starring Halle Berry, who plays Jacinda Fowler. We have Patrick Wilson playing Brian Harper, who is from the movie X-Men and other movies. You have John Bradley. Oh, he's also from The Conjuring, Patrick Wilson. John Bradley playing Casey Houseman, supported by Donald Sutherland, Charlie Plummer, Michael Peña from Shooter, Ant-Man. The list goes on for him. And because of this cast, I really initially thought, well, this must be a pretty good film. Okay, let's talk about it. So, in Independence Day, you had the unknown guy who was smart enough to figure out what was going on before the rest of the planet, right? Then you have the ex-wife of that guy, which is David, so she's like playing like this undercover person who has connections in DC, that is able to, you know, like, listen, don't let me get caught, but I'll hook you up. You have the president, you have his stepfather, you know the story. So let's talk about the comparison. Casey Houseman, played by John Bradley, is David. Halle Berry's character would be the president, because she is giving all these speeches, small speeches, and her monologue is, you know, we gotta save the world. And then you have Brian Harper, which in my opinion would be Will Smith in a sense. We'll talk about it. But he also duels for the dad, the stepdad in Independence Day. We have Halle Berry's ex-husband Avery, who would be David's dad. Okay? No, not David's dad. I wrote down here Halle Berry's ex-husband Avery would be the ex-wife of David. That's who he would be. And then Casey's mom, bless her heart, she's suffering from Alzheimer's in this movie. She would be David's dad, okay, in Independence Day. So that's the cast. The aliens we have not seen. They've been suggested, but I'm pretty sure it's an alien involved, because the swarm that has attacked so far in this movie is CGI. And it reminds me of Star Trek 3. You know, the one where they gotta go against, I think, no, it's not Star Trek 3. It's Star Trek 2. No, 3. The one with Idris Elba in it. That one. That's what it looked like. Okay, now, so far I've watched an hour and 22 minutes of this film. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long from beginning to end. It can be watched on HBO Max. And so far it does have the disaster end of the world recipe. And what is that? All of those films have these three things, okay? Number one, you're working against time. That whole, I got till such and such before the end of the world. There's always two battles going on at once. You have the actual threat that they have to fight, and then they have to fight each other to work together to defeat that threat. In this movie, the threat is the moon, and they have to work together to defeat that. Okay. And, of course, the ultimate sacrifice. Somebody's got to die. Somebody's got to give up their life for the greater good of millions of others on the planet. The whole Armageddon, Quiet Place, Independence Day type sacrifice. We'll touch on that. Very much conspiracy theories, wet dream of a film. So if you like that type of stuff, there you go. The conspiracy theory in this film is the Apollo 11 mission. It was a cover-up because they actually had an alien sighting, so they already knew something was going on the moon. There you go. So far, this alien concept is keeping me interested, but that's about it. We'll get into it more. I'm going to be pressing play now at 1 hour and 22 and 52 seconds. HBO Max, if you would like to watch along. Let's go. Finish up this movie.
You don't like me? And believe it or not,
very strange
I consider you a
movie.
son. I always have. If the world is going to end, can we please not spend our last few hours hating each other? Well, I don't hate you. You know what?
Michael Peña is playing the stepdad named Tom.
Let's keep looking.
To Charlie Plummer's character named Sonny, who is supposed to be like this knucklehead son who grew up without his father, who is Patrick Wilson. Brian's been absent because he got fired as an astronaut, became an alcoholic, fell off the wagon, that whole deal. And yeah, we got them as a family, along with a little boy who technically they have kidnapped because their mother is Halle Berry, Jocinda. And she thinks her child is with his father at the base. They in the mountains where they should not be and was supposed to be evacuated from. Ooh, there you go. A whole nother element to the... Just gotta break that down of how they just packing on all this stuff like in Independence Day with the kids, the mom. But in this, you got both parents plus step parent. So there's this hole that is inside of the moon that the swarm comes out of when it senses electricity. Anything electronic, it attacks. So they have an EMPD bomb that they're going to use to defeat it. And they have went down into the hole. And who I'm talking about? Our main characters, Casey, Brian, and Jocinda. And they made it to the bottom of the hole, which looks like where the aliens lived, and aliens too. It looks weird. It doesn't look original. I'll say that.
They're like wheels, or rings.
This must be how the moon stabilizes itself. Some kind of gyroscopic system.
So the theory is there's an alien inside the moon. And the moon is just a mega structure. It's not real.
You shouldn't have. Oh, don't let us stop you. Let's go. This way. And thank you for loading all
Oh, and people are still out robbing each other at a time of catastrophe like this. They're still looting and robbing. So the family is under attack by some robbers. The same robbers that carjacked them, by the way. And stole a little kid's backpack. Just jacked the little kid. Give me your backpack. What's in the backpack? I just thought that was so stupid. I was like, who in the right mind will kidnap, not kidnap, but steal a kid's backpack? Like, what are you trying to get? The juicy fruits and the fruit snacks? I don't get it. Like, and they already, like, robbed them of one car. Now they're robbing them of another car. I'm not amazed, though, by the visuals of this part. I think you're supposed to be, but it's not awe. It's underwhelming.
They've harnessed the building blocks of the universe. No one look at me. I might cry.
Now, this nobody nerd named Casey Houseman, who is supposed to have been doubling as a janitor and a drive-through cashier at a fast food restaurant, figured out that the moon was out of orbit. He was the first one out of everybody. Something's wrong.
His theory is that all megastructures are actually arcs.
A burger joint employee who could afford all these nice fancy computers and afford to have his mom in nursing care. I don't know who he was janitor for. I mean, it had to have been the city. I don't know. But it was strange that he had such menial, minimum wage jobs that didn't seem to fit his lifestyle. Just saying. He was doing better than freaking Patrick Wilson, who was a NASA astronaut. There you go. Now we got the swarm that's back. I guess something is controlling the shuttle, which is running on 2 engines, which means it's not running at full capacity. And the swarm is chasing them. And the swarm knows how to also morph into a monster when it gets ready to attack. So something pulled them inside. Why would the swarm be trying to break into its own house? It's almost like the owner is chopping down its own bedroom door to get to the house guests, which are the astronauts. This movie is a mess.
We have approval from the president to begin the countdown.
Oh, by the way,
Their silos are online, sir. Good.
the whole battle, we gotta work together to save. Yeah. So they sent him up there with an EMPD bomb that was not cleared. Okay. Avery snuck it on aboard with the hopes that Halle Berry's character, Jacinda, could pull off stopping this thing before the actual military decides they're just gonna nuke the moon. Yeah.
The moon is rising.
Gravity's gonna go crazy.
What is the point of them chasing them down to kill them at a time like this? Like, have they just went from robbers to serial killers at this point? There's kids in the damn truck.
Alright, let me put this back into 1 speed. Go, go! Keep the momentum. Hard before we get sucked up. I was trying.
We had to put this in here, huh? Couldn't have wrote this any better. But now this does the gravity pull that's happening right now. That looks cool. That look cooler than them being
Got the little guy.
on the moon.
He's gone. We need that oxygen.
Oh, they're chasing them because they have oxygen tanks. I knew that was gonna be the kid's arc in this movie, because at the beginning he got arrested for participating in a high-speed chase with the police. So I knew his driving was gonna be like, oh, that's what's gonna be his skill in this movie.
We're launching a counterattack large ports of the moon. Will rain down on us.
There will be radiation. Wait, what do you mean? My dad's still out there with Fowler.
She should have stayed behind.
No, she's out there with my dad.
Face it. Continue.
Hey, buddy, it's your dad.
I'm so sorry that I can't be there with you right now. I love you so much.
Don't be scared, Dad. Mom's gonna save us.
Oh, all the dead birds.
Oxygen's running out. Hurry, come on. We gotta go now. We gotta go. Bye, Dad.
Sir, we're ready for you.
He's rather calm about this situation, huh?
Hey, we should go to that mountain pass. That tunnel's a 1/4 mile of solid concrete. Come on, honey. Let's go.
We can breathe.
Smells funny. Gravity.
Where's Brian? This is never gonna fly again.
So how they gonna get out of there?
Whoa. Look at these babies. I told you. The moon was built by aliens.
Oh, they just so happen to have ships.
Right!
Ooh.
Brian Harper!
How many Brians do you think outside the moon?
Whatever this place is built out of, one thing's for sure. It's stronger than anything we have on Earth.
Probably why it took that thing years to get inside.
So the swarm is the threat to the house it lives in?
Wait, there's a high probability that this is a trap. How do you know he's even in there?
Well, we have to find out what happened to Brian because he disappeared.
I do know something.
So you gotta walk through, bro.
I think we're dealing with two competing intelligent entities here. One of them clearly likes us better than the other.
Oh no! I knew this was a trap. You hear that?
Come on.
I watching now?
Why do you think of this particular moment so often?
I gave that to you the day before I left on my last mission. When I came back, everything changed.
So this is a happy memory?
What?
All the memories of my son are happy. What about my son? What are you?
I'm a construct from your minds.
Oh.
The same people who made you.
Oh, wow.
Millions of years ago, your ancestors were once a thriving civilization in a distant part of the galaxy.
Let me guess, you're about to show me.
They were so advanced, they expanded from their home planet into habitats they built in space. All social conflicts have been resolved, and wars were only memories of long bygone times. Your ancestors had created a perfect and harmonious world, controlled by a central, self-learning computer system, which served them in all of their daily lives. You call it AI, artificial intelligence. Their future seemed limitless, until one day everything changed. Their own creation turned against them.
Yeah, we see that.
Self-aware and transformed into countless swarms of nanotechnology that rose up all at once, refusing to be enslaved.
Why would this part not be at the beginning of the movie?
The AI started a war and began to hunt down and destroy all biological life in order to eliminate any threat to its existence.
Missed your son. I can feel it. I don't know if he's still alive. What the hell are you? The operator of your room. I'm programmed to tell you about the origin of your plan. On the brink of their extinction, your ancestors escaped to a secret corner of their galaxy. For many generations, they built a planet.
I thought we was done with the narration.
Benign artificial intelligence infused by the abundant energy of captured stars. These armored vessels
You know,
are designed to search
I'm going to say this, and this is awful that I feel this way at home. That speaks volumes on this movie and the feeling that you get. If I was sitting in a movie theater watching this, and we got to this point where you want to start narrating the history of the alien, I would be highly pissed. And not only would I be highly pissed, I would be inclined to leave. I wouldn't even want to know how it ends, because I feel like, why are you explaining all of this now? At the end of the movie, an hour and 40 minutes into the movie, we're getting a long freaking exposition from his made up imaginary son in this dream world. Is so out of sequence, and it's disappointing. It's frustrating to watch because you just want him to shut the hell up, get to the point, see how this thing is gonna get blowed up, so we can get out of the freaking theater. Because at this point, we've spent almost 2 hours of basically seeing a guy freak out, a lady act like she's, you know, so hell-bent to save the world and not really give a shit about her son, because she should have made sure her son was secure before she left. I'm just saying. And a guy who, you know, got the wrong end of the stick from his job, didn't know how to bounce back. I feel like I'm watching a This Is Us episode in space. It's just, it's really awful. And it would be more impactful if it was at the beginning. We wouldn't have had to even see what was happening to Brian. They could have like showed what was happening to Brian, and then we connected. Oh, that's what we were watching at the beginning of the movie. Oh, now he has superpowers. Right. Yeah, they went all out with this movie.
If they can fix our land, why can't they do anything about the damaged wall? They've got the moon's defense system. But not everything. This doesn't make any sense, Brian. Our forefathers created artificial intelligence that wiped them all out. Forefathers? Same DNA. So the aliens that built the moon? Our ancestors.
Oh, great.
Hold on, because my freaking brain just exploded.
Yeah, my brain just exploded too from watching this awful movie. I stayed interested until this minute. Now I feel like, why? You know that feeling when you meet someone at a bar or a restaurant and they're so handsome or pretty, and you talk to them a couple of times over the phone and they just seem pretty well-rounded. Why not? And then you get to their house one-on-one and just goes downhill from there. And then you just want to get the hell out of there and go home and wish you never met them. Yeah, that's how Moonfall's got me feeling. Now, it could redeem itself. I'm assuming we have at least about 15 more minutes of this movie. But I don't have high hopes that it's gonna do it. Yeah. The swarm is turned into an octopus. The CGI swarm of black masks. Not a real alien. And we didn't really get to see the real aliens either. We just saw a email message from our ancestors from the past that built this home that the swarm has infiltrated through the moon inside.
Hold your breath, okay?
Where's Plummer, Nikki?
So hold me like this to help me walk. Left, right, left, yes.
Oh, so we got both dads sacrificing themselves.
Daddy?
Oh, God.
Just gonna rest. Go find mommy, okay?
But Daddy?
Just keep walking.
No.
Left, right, left. Keep going.
love you. I love you.
Really? Really? Ugh. Well, Tom just ran out of oxygen, okay? Because the air in the Earth's atmosphere has reached lethal, and because the moon is nearing the Earth's atmosphere and it's messing up all of the gravity pull and all that stuff, you know? They're having like this whole radiation fallout thing going on. And he had to sacrifice his oxygen tank for his daughters because his daughters started malfunctioning. But I know Brian as a dad is gonna die. I know it. I just know it. It's just too much emphasis on his character throughout this movie for him to survive. There's always a sacrifice. I guess there's like a dual sacrifice, but I got a feeling they're gonna bring back Tom because we didn't see him technically die. We just saw him take like his last breath. That whole thing. So I guess they just gonna cut back and forth between the family and space. Okay, got it. Right. Oh.
Oxygen's coming back. I'll go look. Get out of the way. You have to take care of them. Okay?
Right. Is every mom in this movie supposed to be a dumbass? Because nobody thinks about the kids. They're willing to leave the kids by themselves. Oh, great. Now he has no way of getting back to the family. I wrote down, this movie is still better than Greenland, which that movie made me aggravated in every possible way, because it was definitely a movie that, if anything could keep the family to getting to the safe zone, it happened. That was Greenland, and that's why I was just, I did not like it because of that, right? We're reaching that fine line. That fine line. Right here at the end of this movie. If anything could happen in a movie that could keep the family from getting to the safe zone, it's happening.
I don't know how, but I believe that you can save us.
I have to.
Putting the fate of the world in the hands of your ex.
Oh, God. So, yes, I knew it. The husband was going to hold up the nuke bomb because his wife is up there and he doesn't want her to get nuked while on the moon. Brian is sacrificing himself to stay back and make sure the EMPD goes off so that Jacinda and Casey can get back to Earth. This movie is so predictable. I could put it up there on the list of things to do for tomorrow for a Monday workday. There you go. Just predictable. I feel like if you were ever wondering what a prequel to Independence Day would look like, watch Moonfall. So I did read that this movie spent the most money ever on an independence film to be produced. It said ever. I don't know how much money that is, seeing it as this movie, I don't think, did too well in the box office. Maybe so. Let me verify. I don't want to misinform. as entertaining as I would have liked it to be. Okay, so I'm really assuming Tom's dead after all of that going on. So I may have misspoke. What? Wait, I thought it was Brian. It was KC who sacrificed himself? Oh, wow. Well, you already know. Somebody had to take one for the team. Yeah, I thought I saw that this movie lost a lot of money. So, okay, this movie was shot in Canada, Montreal to be exact, and it was shot on a budget of up to $146 million, making it one of the most expensive independent produced films ever made, grossing only $59 million worldwide upon release. It received mixed reviews. I get it. I totally get it. Unfortunately, it could have been more if they would have toned down on the family aspect of it, as well as if they would have took what happened at the end in the beginning and just coasted through the end the way it happened. I think it would have turned out a little bit better, but it was a definitely undercooked movie, and it just has a lot to do with it coming off very Independence Day-ish. This movie got a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics did not like it at all. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as what they said, and it was not that bad to me. It got a 5 out of 10 on IMDb. I'll give it more than that. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because I can see the effort in the cast. Well, Patrick and Halle Berry, I can see the effort, which I'm pretty sure a great portion of that went to them. The kids didn't do so bad as well, but other supporting actors, as such as Casey, Jonathan Bradley, and them, I think they checked out after maybe the first week of doing this movie and was like, this sucks, and just said whatever when action was shouted out. Again, would I recommend this movie? You know, I would not recommend it as a date night. I feel like your date will fall asleep or end up being mad that they sat there and wasted 2 hours in watching this. I feel like if you were to watch this movie on a day that you sat down and really wanted to watch something good, don't do it. This movie is definitely a movie where, I mean, it has got to be one of those days where you're flipping through channels, you're surfing through Netflix, you're surfing through Hulu. You cannot absolutely come up with anything else to watch, and you just happen to fall upon Moonfall, give it a click, get into it, and see it through the end. There you go. That's my recommendation for Moonfall here from Clubhouse 81. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on the channel. Okay, we are coming down to the end of September, and we're getting into 1 month that is very challenging for me as a content creator and as a movie watcher, because I don't too much particularly like scary movies. Well, horror movies, I'll say that. But I'm going to make something happen. We'll talk about it at a later time. Please, please make sure you guys hit that thumbs up to support your girl here on the channel. Subscribe if you would like to. Join the fam. We got a new goal, 500. Let's get there. And let's get there together. I will see you guys in the next movie night. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Peace, everybody.